श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ओम् असतो मा सद्गमय तमस अमृतं गमय आविराविर्मयेधि ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ अखण्डं सच्चिदानन्दं वाङ्मनसगोचरम् आत्मानम् अखिलाधारम् आश्रयेऽभीष्टसिद्धये. May we be protected, may we be nourished, may we strive with energy and vigor, may our study be enlightening and not give rise to hostility. Om peace, peace, peace. Lead us to truth and not to untruth. Lead us to enlightenment and not ignorance. Lead us to immortality and not death. Let the self-manifest Atman grow in me. Om peace, peace, peace. I take refuge in the self, the individual, the existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute, beyond the reach of words and thought, and the substratum of all for the attainment of my cherished desire. We are studying Vedantasara and we are in D superimposition. D superimposition. So, this is a genuine effort to find out what is our real nature, what we are. We think ourselves as something like I have a body, I have a mind, but what happens? We think I am the body, I am the mind. So is it I have a body, I have a mind, I have intellect, I have ego? So am I beyond this, or I am the body? Though we say I have a body, I have a feet, I have say feet, I have limbs. So we say this, but in practice we think that we are bodies. Like we have, while saying also, I have a book. So I have book means it is other than me. So we say also, I have a body. I have a pen. So it is other than me. But what happens if somebody pinches me? I said, why are you pinching me? So it is called Chit Jada Granthi. Consciousness and material has mingled in such a way that it's very difficult to get rid of. But do you not do any every day? Actually, we do every day. When we go to sleep, we try to forget not only our properties, our money, and all relations, but even I have a body. If you think that no, I have a body and my limb is aching, you cannot sleep. And sometimes we transcend to deep sleep also. That means what? Even we don't have consciousness of body, mind, or even ignorance or whatever. So we are in deep ignorance. And we do not know that. So, this is the situation. What we really are, that we have to understand. Scripture says that you are that, tat tvam asi. We have understood that, oh, I see. You are Mr. Tom, whom I saw 20 years ago. That time you were a kid. Now you are a grown man with mustache and beard or whatnot. And you have grown in intellect also. So naturally what we do, mentally we deduct that time body, mind, this time body, mind. We take something. What is that? The person. Behind the body, mind, intellect and all kinds of upadhis, adjuncts, all kinds of whatever we say, like we wearing, say sometimes say person, a normal person, he puts on the attire of a policeman. So everybody says, yes sir, what can I do for you? Because he, with that uniform, he exuberates some authority. He is representative of state. And when the same person comes to home and removes all these things, he is a father of someone or husband of someone. So he is a normal person that time. But otherwise, he is a cop. Like while driving, the signal, the cop is in front of you. Be careful. So, this is called upadhi. Upadhi means adjunct. So, see, this uniform has a, say, working value. That's why people say, oh, Swamiji, like this. So, this gives that identity. So, whatever gives identity, it is called upadhi or adjunct. But it has no connection with me at all. The uniform of a cop has no connection with him. If tomorrow he leaves the job, then all his paraphernalia, all these upadhis will be given up. We have also this body, mind, etc. So we have to see that person, the same Tom, but here this the name is different, but we are, because here Tom is very common name. So we have to find out what is this. Who is the possessor of this body, mind, and the whole paraphernalia, this whole world experienced by him. So anyway, this is introduction, and let us, if David is there, so we can read from the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. So we take it little from here, from there, so that otherwise all rationality is so all boring. Though it is so interesting. It is the basis of how we understand things. And today you'll understand. Even, say, when we say something, how we interpret. What are the components by which we understand? So previously we had understood that we have word meaning, the meaning of the sentence, and also what mood I am in. The meaning is understood because of my mood. I may utter the same wordings, but it may, the meaning may differ. Similarly, sometimes we lakshat, we have indicated meaning, and something we understand intuitionally. With intuition we understand, like I told the joke. So something is not spoken, but we understand, and then it gives joy. So feeling of that joy is something which is not in the words. See, even you see, like day to day parlance, whatever we use, that also we understand the same way, only we don't put attention. Vedanta analyzes that, how we understand and how this same instrument can be utilized to understand the Vedic dictum and also the whatever is said here. Because it is not the word meaning, it is the indicated meaning. So this is what we are studying, so let us go with. So what I'm saying, it is not boring, but we feel, like, oh, it's too tough. And somebody informs me, Swamiji, it is too tough. But actually we do every day. When we
Listen, थोड़ी हीटिंग तेज कर दो, 21 पे कर दो, 21, फिर मैं कम कर दूंगी.
Okay, okay, कर दो, म्यूट कर दो.
1 second.
दाल को थोड़ा तड़का लगाने लगा.
Sorry. So what I was telling, we use the same thing, say Vivek. When we say Vivek, oh Vivek, Swamiji, renunciation is very difficult. But we do all the time. When you go for shopping, you don't buy whatever you put your hands on. No. You select. This is good, this is healthy, this is vegan. Those who are they're mindful of all these healthy things. So what I'm saying, we use the same intellect to understand the worldly things. Now we read in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna that Vidyasagar is to not preach in the fear of caning. And fear of caning, just now we have read. So suppose he committed, somebody, like he gave the example of that Keshav Chandra Sen. So Keshav Chandra Sen committed some mistakes. So God said, okay, give him 25 canes, lashes. And then suppose some next man comes and says, oh, I did some mistake, but it is because he preached and I followed him. Okay, bring him Keshav Chandra Sen again and another 25. So because of that, I don't preach. Then Swami Vivekananda said, if he understands charity and doing good to others, that means he understands. If we know how to calculate the cost of salt, naturally we can calculate also the cost of sugar. Why not take sugar? So, we use the same mind for our day-to-day activities. What we have to do, we have to use the same logic, same mind to understand this so-called difficult things. So anyway, David.
Yes, Swami.
Yeah, please read.
Let me repeat once more that the Vedantic position is neither pessimism nor optimism. It does not say that this world is all evil or all good. It says that our evil is of no less value than our good, and our good of no more value than our evil.
Okay, the thing is, generally we concentrate only on evil. You see what happened. If you read newspaper, all the bad things will be reported. And also we see, if you go somewhere, you'll find defects. Say the architect, suppose an architect came here. And he'll say, oh, this building, yeah, it is good, but this is the mistake architect have done. So, we see the bad sides of it because it is glaring to us. And very few people are there who see good side also. Yes.
They are bound together. This is the world, and knowing this, you work with patience. What for? Why should we work? If this is the state of things, what shall we do? Why not become agnostics? The modern agnostics also know there is no solution of this problem, no getting out of this evil of Maya, as we say in our language. Therefore, they tell us to be satisfied and enjoy life. Here again is a mistake, a tremendous mistake, a most illogical mistake. And it is this: what do you mean by life? Do you mean only the life of the senses?
Okay, one thing, just a minute. Say, we say there is a modern agnostic also know there is no solution to this problem, no getting out of this evil of Maya, as we say. What is the evil of Maya? That means if we are in ignorance, so like somebody is sleeping, he wants to sleep. If somebody say covered by snow, that amnesia comes and then he wants to be in that state. So this is, if someone is concentrating on bad things, so it is difficult for him to come out. Say like addicts, drug addicts, it's very difficult to come out. So when a person is in ignorance, he thinks, oh, cultivating knowledge is very difficult. Let me be here. At least enjoy this, whatever is given. Maybe it has some evil component also, but at least we'll get some joy. But that's not right. Okay, go ahead.
In this, every one of us differs only slightly from the brutes. I am sure that no one is present here whose life is only in the senses. Then, this present life means something more than that.
See again, just a minute. Say when we read something or when we see a beautiful scenery, we try to see the divinity. It is inherent within us. Only thing when our scripture says, no, see more, then the problem comes. Okay.
Our feelings, thoughts, and aspirations are all part and parcel of our life. And it is not the struggle towards the ideal, towards perfection, one of the most important components of what we call life. According to the agnostics, we must enjoy life as it is. But this life means, above all, this search after the ideal. The essence of life is going towards perfection. We must have that, and therefore we cannot be agnostics or take the world as it appears. The agnostic position takes this life, minus the ideal component, to be all that exists. And this, the agnostic claims, cannot be reached. Therefore, he must give up the search. This is what is called Maya, this nature, this universe.
Yeah, so that, we have ideal, we have appreciation. See, Jesus sacrificed himself for others. Buddha enlightened. We understand this. That means we have seed. When we listen to music, beautiful music, so we also want to sing. Why? The seed is there. If you can appreciate something, that means that seed is there. That means we can strive for it. It may be difficult. But people want to shut their eyes and they want to enjoy the things of this world and shutting that portion, ideal. And therefore, this situation, though from inside we want to realize, actualize the ideal, but somehow we fail. So this contradiction is Maya. Yes.
All religions are more or less attempts to get beyond nature. The crudest or the most developed, expressed through a mythology or symbology, stories of gods, angels, or demons, or through stories of saints or seers, great men or prophets, or through the abstractions of philosophy. All have that one object. All are trying to get beyond these limitations. In one word, they are all struggling towards freedom.
So this freedom seed is within us, and we understand, but somehow we fail to have that courage, muster that courage. Only we need to be patient and have the courage to at least strive. Then somebody will come and tell. So this is, this is inherent within us. Yes.
Man feels, consciously or unconsciously, that he is bound. He is not what he wants to be. It was taught to him at the very moment he began to look around. That very instant, he learnt that he was bound, and he also found that there was something in him which wanted to fly beyond, where the body could not follow, but which was as yet chained down by this limitation. Even in the lowest of religious ideas, where departed ancestors and other spirits, mostly violent and cruel, lurking about the houses of their friends, fond of bloodshed and strong drink, are worshipped. Even there, we find that one common factor, that of freedom. The man who wants to worship the gods sees in them, above all things, greater freedom than in himself. If a door is closed, he thinks the gods can get through it, and that walls have no limitations for them. This idea of freedom increases until it comes to the ideal of a personal God, of which the central concept is that he is a being beyond the limitation of nature, of Maya. I see before me, as it were, that in some of those forest retreats this question is being discussed by those ancient sages of India. And in one of them, where even the oldest and the holiest fail to reach the solutions, a young man stands up in the midst of them and declares, "Hear, ye children of immortality. Hear, ye who live in the highest places. I have found the way. By knowing him who is beyond darkness, we can go beyond death."
So even our scientific advancement, whatever advancement that we see in the society, all is to strive to go beyond the limitation. We saw birds are flying, so we also wanted to fly. And today we can fly, though not with the wings. And then we saw, okay, there is a moon. Okay, let us go there. And people tried, and they went there. So like this, that whatever advancement that we see, it is because of our quest to go beyond limitations, to have that sense of freedom. Yes.
This Maya is everywhere. It is terrible. Yet we have to work through it. The man who says that he will work when the world has become all good, and then he will enjoy bliss, is as likely to succeed as the man who sits beside the Ganga and says, "I will ford the river when all the water has run into the ocean." The way is not with Maya, but against it. This is another fact to learn. We are not born as helpers of nature, but competitors with nature. We are its bondmasters, but we bind ourselves down. Why is this house here? Nature did not build it. Nature says, "Go and live in a forest." Man says, "I will build a house and fight with nature," and he does so. The whole history of humanity is a continuous fight against the so-called laws of nature, and man gains in the end. Coming to the internal world, there too the same fight is going on, this fight between the animal man and the spiritual man, between light and darkness. And here too, man becomes victorious. He, as it were, cuts his way out of nature to freedom.
Yes. So this is also, we want to get free, to have freedom. So for that, what we do? We pray. That's one way. But another way is to know. That is why we have that power of knowledge. how to operate a computer. If you know, then you can do lots of things. How can this electricity be handled? Then you can use in various ways. So this knowledge is also a tool to have that freedom. So this is, yeah, go ahead.
We see then
Some
that beyond
another point is, it will not happen, everything, okay, everything, I finish all the difficult situation, then we'll do. Never will happen. They said, Samudre Shanta Kallole Snatum Ichchati Durmati. When all the waves of the ocean will subside, then I'll take bath. He cannot take bath in the ocean. So Swamiji has given another. I'll ford the river when all the water has run into the ocean. So it never happened. It will continue. It is a stream. What we have to do, we have to do here and now. We cannot delay anymore. Yes.
we see then that beyond this Maya, the Vedantic philosophers find something which is not bound by Maya. And if we can get there, we shall not be bound by Maya. This idea is in some form or other the common property of all religions. But with the Vedanta, it is only the beginning of religion and not the end. The idea of a personal God, the ruler and creator of this universe, as he has been styled, the ruler of Maya, of nature, is not the end of these Vedantic ideas. It is only the beginning. The idea grows and grows until the Vedantist finds that he who he thought was standing outside is he himself and is in reality within. He is the one who is free, but who through limitation thought he was bound.
Yeah. So actually that search that we are undertaking, we search outside. But it is we that we are searching. All the things that is being possessed by this self. Whatever we see, even body, mind, and then the properties, relationship, this whole world, the whole scenario, it is possessed by the self. And in that self, the seed is there, that I can be free. That is why all our efforts is dedicated. So this, when it is there, here, why not we explore this? And that is what we are here. And we have completed one point, that is, it is the same Devadatta. Soyam Devadatta. It is the same term. So mentally we do the same thing, we deduct something, but we take something. What we take something? The conscious portion. That Devadatta that time, that conscious being, and Devadatta this time, conscious being, we equate. It's the same person. So when Shastra says, when scripture says, Tat, that, thou art that, you are that, you are that. That means what we have to understand, we are to find the unity of consciousness. Consciousness, that Chetana is here. The same Chetana is that, indicated by that. So, what we say here, it is Atman and Paramatman, Supreme Self, and individual self. Individual self is like it has some baggages. What are the baggages? It's karma, even memory, even thinking, planning, all kinds of things. So it's not only outside objects, but inside impulses also, inside impressions also. Whatever impressions that we have, memory, then anxiety, all kinds of things. But they come and go away. Agama apayinaha. Tang stitikshasya bharata. Therefore, we have to forbear this. Because we know it will come in time, and in time it will go. Then why worry? I am unaffected. It is like dream comes, and sometimes it is ferocious and like a nightmare, and it goes away. So why worry? That is what say what we have to understand. That now the next section comes. What is that? Adhuna brahmasmi iti anubhava vakyartho varnyat. Now I am Brahman. I am Brahman. I am the Supreme Self. This identity, because both are Chaitanya, both are conscious being. So there is no separation in conscious being, like space inside and a space outside. It is the same space. Even through wall, it is the same space. If you cut a solid thing, it is actually it is not solid. It's full of space. What we think that it is in a matter, it is atom, electron, proton, neutron, actually all they are full of space. And so it is unlimited space. We are to find that unlimited consciousness, Chaitanya. So this is what is being now discussed. Evam Acharyena, I should read the translation to make it easier for you. When the teacher in this way clears the meaning of the words that and thou. So shodhana, it is called shodhana, purification. That means removing unnecessary things and taking the gist of it. So this is called shodhana. So that and thou, by the refutation of superimpositions, that whatever, superimposition means body, mind, and the thought and emotions, all kinds of things. So removing all superimpositions and makes the qualified student grasp the import of the sentence. Import here means that lakshartha. Lakshartha means indicated meaning. So teacher says in such a way that it should reveal the truth then and there. That means it is immediate. Sakyut vibhati. It comes into flash. Like joke we understand in a flash, same thing, same way. So, thou art that which is absolute unity. There arise in his mind a state of absolute oneness in which he feels that he is Brahman. He means that individual is Brahman. Immediately it flashes. Like if I call you by name, say Vinny, yes, Swami. It doesn't take two hours to understand. So when I ask Vinny, though after 2 hours, yes, Swami, not 2 hours, it is immediate. So, same thing when a teacher teaches, thou art that. He, that is Brahman and Atman. Paramatman and Atman are the same. So immediately the idea comes, oh, I am Brahman. So this idea comes. Absolute unity, there arises in his mind a state of absolute oneness in which he feels that he is Brahman, by nature eternal, pure, self-illumined, free, real, supremely blissful, infinite, and one without a second. Now, the thing is, we say, I am that. What is that? So, some signs and symptoms also should be there. If I say, okay, go to, say, Vinny's house or somebody's house. So, he'll say, where is that? So, he'll give a street address, like here, 1157, Southeast 55th Avenue. So, even somebody writes it, that later comes here. So, address should be given. So, signs and symptoms are very important. How we understand who is Mr. Tom or Dick or Harry? We understand by appearance and all kind of things. So, here that same things are given here. What are those? Nitya. Nitya means eternal. Eternal means it is never absent in time. It is always there. It was there yesterday, it is today, and it will be tomorrow. So Trikala Abadhita. In Trikala, in three times, past, present, and future, it abides, it exists, it stays. So Nitya, Shuddha. Shuddha means there is no adulteration, no intermingling. That means it is one and same thing. There is no, uh, say, something added. Even this, what we say, Maya, etc., it's the Maya does not exist. Only it is for the sake of understanding, we say, so that we understand why we are confused. So that's one. But that also disappears. Now, say like this, if I ask, do dream exist? No. If you say, yes, Swami, it exists. Okay, I say, show me. You cannot show me. That means it does not exist. It was that it is state of your mind that you are thinking that I am dreaming. Now dreaming is state gone. So, something which comes and goes away, it does not exist. It has no existence of its own. It's only temporary. If, say, you are driving, you see so many visions. So it is only coming and going. So let us take that the example of dream. So dream does not exist. It appears in front of us. Sometimes we are thinking and we go in that imagination. So all our imagination. If people say your friend will come and what are you thinking? It's worthless thinking. Oh yes. Let me stop it. So Nitya, Shuddha. Shuddha means no adulteration, no intermixing of things. It is all pure, Shuddha, pure. Buddha. Buddha means enlightened. No ambiguity of ignorance. Mukta. Mukta means free. It is not bound. It is not limited. Free. That means it is not under any force. Nobody under nobody's thumb. So Mukta. Then Satya. Satya means truth. Truth always exists. It is like this. Na sato vidyate bhava. Na bhava vidyate sata. Truth never cease to exist. And untruth never exists. Na asatah vidyate bhava. There is no existence of asat. Okay, if I say, do shadow exist? Shadow? You'll say, yes, Swami, see there. I'll say it is not shadow, it is less light. It is less light. Shadow is only we have given a name, but it is less light and more light. If something is there, who say bring light, it is gone. Put more light, it is gone. So that means whatever we see or hear or experience, whatever, so that is only, say like, truth alone abides. Na sato vidyate bhava. Asatah bhavaha na vidyate. Na bhavo vidyate sata. And whatever exists never cease to exist. You are the truth. You never cease to exist. You cannot say, Swami, when I was sleeping, I was not there. Because when you wake up, you remember. When you remember, yes, I experienced there was nothing. That means you are there. So you never cease to exist. And whatever looks like it appears, but it does not exist. Okay. So that is Satya, truth. Satya, Swabhava, it is its own inherent nature. Swabhava, its own inherent nature. Paramananda, Paraman, supreme joy. Like human being has got one kind of joy. But the divinities has got another kind of joy. There is Ananda Mimamsa in Taittiriya Upanishad. So various stages are there. One stage, another stage is 100 times more, and next stage 100 times more. So this way, even that Brahma's Ananda, that's also limited, but it goes beyond all limitations. So that joy gives them that certificate that it is real. It is not a figment of imagination. It is not that something does not exist. Say, like a Buddhist, they say, oh, that is there, but it is nothing. Shunya, void. But it is not void, because you can feel that joy. Even in deep sleep, you feel that joy. Only it is covered by ignorance, but you feel that joy. That is why next morning you say, Sukham aham aswapsam na kinchit avidisham. That means I slept so very well, so sound sleep, that I did not do anything. So you witnessed that no objects were there, and you experienced that bliss. But we say, oh, I did not know. That means you were under the ignorance. That is what. So Paramananda, Ananta, Advayam. Ananta, there is no end, there is no limitation. Advayam, non-dual. Because there is no sense of duality that time. Brahmasmi iti akhandakara karita chittavritti. Akhandakara karita chittavritti udeti. So that time, we as of now we have many vrittis. Vritti means mental modification. If I see a book, what is there? So my attention goes there, covers the whole book. So I understand, oh, this is a book. How we understand? We understand by the shape and what it contains. So it is called vritti. Vritti means mental modification. When I see this, in my mind, there is a form of this. So that's called vritti. So what happens? As of now, we have thousands and millions of vrittis, all the time getting up and I have to go to market and I have to buy this and that. There's so many thoughts are there. Even emotions, some memories, all kinds of things. All these are vrittis. So what happens? All the vrittis subside, but one vritti remains. What is that one vritti? I am Brahman. I am that Supreme Self. That is also a vritti. That is also a vritti. Like all the waves of the ocean subsided and one big tsunami came. But it is a wave, though it is huge. It's a 15-meter high. Generally it's smaller, say 1 meter, maybe say 50 centimeters. So one big vrittis come to the mind, that's I am Brahman. So that is what is being said. Brahmasmi iti akhandakara karita chitta vritti udeti. When the teacher in this way clears the meaning of the words that and thou by the removal of superimpositions and makes the qualified students, not everybody, those who have practiced viveka, vairagya, shamadamadi, shat sampatti and mumukshutva, those who have mastered all these things. That means all the time he is discriminating what is real, what is not real. And he never entertains whatever is not real. So vairagya. And then shama, dama, uparati, titiksha, shraddha, samadhan that we have discussed. and also mumukshutva. Who is practicing all this, all these? Such a student, qualified student, grasps the import of the sentence. That is why it does not work. These are to be practiced to work. And then comes, thou art that, which is absolute unity. There arises in his mind a state of absolute oneness. That absolute oneness comes. What is that oneness? In which he feels that he is Brahman, by nature eternal, pure, self-illumined, free, real, supremely blissful, infinite, and one without a second. So this chitta vritti udeti, one big tsunami comes and it inundates everything on the way. So now, after this, Satu chit pratibimba sahita sati prattak abhinnam ajnatam parabrahma. So let me read the translation. What are these? That mental state illumined by the reflection of pure consciousness objectifies the Supreme Brahman, unknown but identical with the individual self, and destroys the ignorance. So what happens when that chitta vritti comes, brahmakara chitta vritti? Then it destroys all the ignorance about what we are and what we are not. We feel that we are body, mind, etc. So then idea comes, no, I am not the body, I am the self. I am one with the Supreme Self. It is like a river mingles in the ocean. It is like breaking the walls and the space inside the house and a space outside mingles. So this is that what happens. That mental state illumined by the reflection of pure consciousness makes the Supreme Brahman unknown by but identical with the individual self, its object, and destroys the ignorance pertaining to Brahman. So it removes all the ignorance pertaining to Brahman. Then, just as a cloth is burned, when the threads composition it are burned. So say what happens? Suppose I have a cloth, this. If I burn all the threads, the cloth is burnt. So when all other impressions, mental modifications subsides, that means there is no separate existence, like burning the threads of the cloth. So then, just as a cloth is burned, when the threads composing it are burned, so all the effects of ignorance are destroyed when they are caused. That means ignorance is destroyed. So when ignorance is destroyed, like what happens? You wake up from your dream. So dream is destroyed, and all the scenery that you saw, a tiger you saw chasing you, all things are destroyed. And you say you have nothing to worry about. You are not afraid of that tiger anymore. Similarly, the total ignorance is destroyed. When they are caused, that means ignorance is destroyed. Hence, the mental state of absolute oneness, which forms part of those effects, is also destroyed. So all other modifications are destroyed. Only one thing remains. What is that? I am Brahman. One modification remains. Okay. Now comes. So one can argue that's also modification. That means it is a presence of mind. That means it is not complete knowledge. Yes, you are right. So there, that also ceased to exist. Even no mental modification. Tatra pratibimbitam chaitanyam api yatha deepa prabha Prabhaditya Prabha, Aditya Prabha. As the light of a lamp cannot illumine the luster of the sun but is overpowered by it. So, what is individual self? Individual self is reflected awareness, consciousness. But it is the same consciousness, but it is reflected. It is like this. Sri Ramakrishna said, suppose there are 10 pitchers and one sun. So how many suns? One real sun and 10 reflected suns. In every pitcher you will see a reflected sun. So one real sun, 10 reflected sun. Break one pitcher. Then how many? One real sun, 9 reflected suns. Okay, doing another. So 1 plus 8. Break more. 1 is left. One reflected sun and one reflected sun. Okay, break that also. What remains? So Girish Chandra Ghosh said, one real sun. He said, how can you say that? When it is in comparison, when it was reflecting, then we say reflected sun. One real sun, one reflected sun. But if there is no reflected, how can you say? Okay, another example. You are in front of a mirror. You are looking at it. Okay, 10 mirrors are there. So everywhere you will see 10 reflections. Break one by one. Don't break, remove. Okay. Remove one by one. Last is one. One, you, and reflected you. Okay, remove that also. So who is there? We cannot say that I am an original one. I alone was there all the time. Reflected being is nothing. I always was there and I am always there. So in absence of a mirror, what remains? So that happens. So even the river enters into the ocean. After mingling, what happens? It does not lost. It is not lost. Rather, it is one. It becomes one with the ocean. It is ocean. If I say it is one with ocean, that means it is separate. No, it is ocean. So when that idea comes, that I am Brahman, and that also subsides, what remains? That remains what remains. That is state of illumination. That what is Buddha, Buddhahood. That is what is Samadhi. That is what Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna in Samadhi. He has no other thing. He then sees everywhere it is the same. Tatra pratibimbitam chaitanyam api yatha deepa prabha. So here, little lamp, this example is little lamp. So it has a little light and sun has light. So what happens? It becomes minuscule or nothing. But actually this a better example is mirror. In absence of mirror, it is you who is present. So like this, our brick, the barriers, the space mingles with the space. It is all space. Okay. As the light of a lamp cannot illumine the luster of the sun, but is overpowered by it, so consciousness reflected in the state of the mind is unable to illumine the Supreme Brahman, self-effulgent and identical with the individual self, and is overpowered by it. And on the destruction of this state of absolute oneness with which that consciousness is associated. So oneness, even that time also, consciousness is associated with oneness, that also subsides. There remains only the Supreme Brahman, identical with the individual self, just as the image of a face in a looking glass is resolved into the face itself, then when the looking glass is removed. So there is no mental modification. So Sri Ramakrishna would say, when I utter Om, I have descended 100 cubit. একশো হাত নিচে নেমে এসেছি 100 cubits. Cubits that this much. That means to show that that state is way higher. But in normal sense also he has body idea. He has people Naren and he worries about Tom, Dick and Harry. So, so he does everything. But at the same time he knows he's nothing. It's all the same truth. For us it is difficult to understand. But for a realized soul, he knows everything is the same reality. As Sri Ramakrishna said, light is feverish. If you are feverish, then everything is like soaked in that fever. So, like that. So, evam cha sati manasaivanu drashtabhya. Now, there is a conflict. Two statements of the scripture. Now it is being clarified. What is that? Evam cha sati, if it is so, such being the case, there is no contradiction between the following Shruti passage. By the mind alone is to be perceived. So through mind, see here. By the mind alone is to be perceived. Mind is material. How can you perceive that Supreme Being through mind? But, this will be resolved. By the mind alone is to be perceived. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And that which cannot be thought of by the mind. This is another statement. So, manasaivanu drashtabhya. Yan manasana manute. Mind cannot perceive it. Mind cannot even touch it. Mind is also, it's within the Maya, within ignorance. So Prakriti and Vikruti. Prakriti and Vikruti. What is that? Prakriti is ignorance. These are various modes of ignorance. Various modifications of ignorance. So mind is also that. Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. Then five Panchabhuta, 5 bhutas, then 5 sense organs, 5 karmendriyas, organs of action, and panchaprana. So these are 5 into 4, 20, and mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. These all are product of Maya. So mind cannot touch it. Mind cannot be an instrument by which we realize it. But what Sri Ramakrishna said, that's wonderful. Sri Ramakrishna said, Shuddha Man, Shuddha Buddhi, Shuddha Atma, one and the same. Pure mind, pure intellect, pure self is one and the same thing. When there is pure, no ambiguity, no adulteration, it's the same. A name is given. So when Shruti says this, that through mind it is to be realized. So it is pure mind. And pure mind and pure intellect and pure Atman is the self, same. But by lower mind it cannot be perceived. When it has awareness of this world, when it has awareness of duality, then it is not perceived. So, by the mind alone, it is to be perceived, and that which cannot be thought of by the mind, Kena Upanishad, manusana manute. Yan manasana manute. ityanayoho. We are to suppose that the unknown Brahman is brought into contact with only the mental state, but not with the underlying consciousness. So now, what is the meaning? Two things are there. We cannot take this. Next day we can take that. Huh? Yes. Okay. No, that I can tell in short. Okay, suppose I am seeing this book. What is happening when I am seeing this? So, bukakara, like pustakakara vritti udeti. But behind that is my consciousness. In my consciousness, that book form comes. So, tatra jnanam dhyanashet. By intellect, the ajnana is removed. By intellect, ajnana is removed. Then abhasena ghataspurit. Abhasena ghataspurit. This book form comes because of the consciousness that is in me. So, one thing is important. What is that? That mind, in the beginning, it that's called vritti vyapti. Vyapti means encompassing, or we can say vyapti, covering, vyapti, or pervading. So vritti is pervading, but knowledge is gained by the awareness, consciousness. So that's why when that is vritti is taken, that's one can say manasaivaanu drashtabhya. So mind is only instrument to concentrate there, but mind becomes no mind. Mind becomes no mind. So only in the beginning, as it were, it raises a vritti, as it were. But actually the knowledge comes because of abhasena ghataspurit, because of the glow of consciousness. Say, like when you see here, simple thing. What is happening? You see a book, right? So mind goes and covers this. That's vritti vyapti. Phala vyapti. How you understand that it's a book? You are interpreting. You are interpreting. Eyes are not defining it is book or something. You may be, say if it is wooden, so it is like book, but it's not a book. Same square, same form, but it's not a book. So in the beginning it takes the form, as it were. So vritti, the mental modification covers it. And phala, the result, that comes in the awareness. The awareness is tinkered, or say trickled, or whatever word is correct. So it induces, and that comes because of its natural awareness. It's not because of that mental modification. Mental modification only is covering, but awareness is self-effulgent. Because of self-effulgence, awareness comes. So there is a shloka. We'll take up next time. So this is called abhasena ghataspurit. Buddhi tatha chidabhasa. So buddhi, intellect, and chidabhasa, awareness. Dvavapi vyapnuti ghatam. Both covers this. Tatra jnanam dhyanashyat. Only intellect removes the ignorance of this. See, I have ignorance, so intellect comes and removes the ignorance by the vritti. And the abhas. What is abhas in a ghataspirit? Okay. So we'll stop here. Any question? Akshay?
Yeah. Like, do we have to go to Samadhi to realize this?
You are already aware of it, only it is intermingling. Are you not aware of you? You are
Yeah.
aware of it, right? Even somebody pinches you, you understand. Somebody insults you, you understand. So you are aware of yourself, but it has other mental modifications also. But this is not your pure self. As we read in the beginning, that we have that freedom within, only we don't recognize it. We have some inkling. We are not body. Body belongs to me. Mind belongs to me. But um, when we are in the world, then everything gets mixed up. Then if something happens to my body, if knee aches, then I am in distress. But it's only body. So this way first we have to understand, and then comes contemplation. First this is Shravana, Manana, and comes Nididhyasana. To achieve that height, one should have that Nididhyasana. One should live those ideals. As Swami said, manifestation of the divinity that is already within us. Each soul is potentially divine. As of now, we are potential. We have some inkling, but it's short of realization. We realize also, it's not that we are not altogether fools. We realize also. Only we give importance to the propensities, the impressions of body, mind, and etc. We give more importance. And we lose our real nature. Gradually what we have to do, gradually we have to find out. And when we find out, oh, this is all ignorance, then it will sakrit vibhati. It will be a flash. So as of now, there is no need of going to samadhi. You try. When you do japa, or say you meditate on any deity, that is what we do. We close our eyes so that no other impressions come. But what happens? In our mind, lots of residual impressions are there. They run riots. So gradually those also will be less and less and less and less. And then comes the realization that I am that. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. And that also subsides. Then what happens? Whatever is, remains. And Swamiji has written a beautiful song, Samadhi. What happens in the beginning? So lots of impressions are there. Gradually, Bojhe Pran Bojhe Jat. What remains, remains. Only those who experience they only know. So as of now, there is no need of, meditate. Meditation is good, and say most of us are bhaktas, so it is better to think, God, you are separate, I am separate, that's fine. And then worship, remember Him, sing His glories, try to serve Him in various ways. So that is devotion. But the Jnana Yogi, those who are following knowledge, they are outlaws. Yeah, they are outlaws. Like they go for robbery. They shout and they shoot like that. I'm just conveying the idea. Idea is they don't bother about anything. They are like with bayonet, that they go forward. Even they don't believe in God. No need of God. God is here. Where to find God? God is here. So this is the story of Jnanis. We are bhaktas, we continue with our bhakti. That we'll do tomorrow. Okay.
Maharaj,
Uh,
so this mind, the pure mind that Thakur is talking about, once our mind minus all the impurities, when all the impurities are gone, then the same mind becomes the pure mind that Thakur is talking about, Shuddha
then
mind.
mind becomes no mind.
Mind becomes no mind.
Yeah, manasa amani bhavati. The mind becomes no mind. The mindness goes away. It's like burning of all the threads of my cloth.
Ah,
So what remains?
nothing.
Cloth also goes away like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
what remains is that same purity. That means Brahman or Atman alone abides.
No, because in this 174, the last line, it's saying that we are to suppose that the unknown Brahman is brought into contact only with the mental state,
Correct.
but
Correct.
not with the
Okay.
underlying consciousness.
Correct. So this is like I gave example. What is this book? How you
Yeah.
know? You saw it in the form. So the form, to see the form, mind is applied. But interpretation is completely different. So first that one, see this is, here they are not quoting Sri Ramakrishna. What they are doing, they are going strictly the nuances that is developed in knowledge. So to combine both, they said, okay, in the beginning we need mental modification, that aham brahmasmi. Mental modification, this is a book. That much is there. So that's called vritti vyapya. Vritti is covering. But phala vyapya, that means the fruit means here realization. That is not required because abhasena ghataspurit. Okay. See how you see it. First you say, oh, this is a book. But actually your awareness reveals this book. Book does not reveal you that I am book. You don't know I am a book. It does not say. You get impression of book. So that's vritti vyapya. Vritti means mental modification. It covers that, oh, this is a like book. Then you interpret it is your part. The realization part is yours. That is not the work of mind. The vritti vyapya is work of mind. But phala vyapya, phala means a fruit. It's your realization, your interpretation. That is why that shloka is very important. That dhyanasya abhasena ghataspuret. Tatra ajnanam dhyanasya. Ajnana, ignorance is removed by intellect. So because, like it's like this. Nowadays fire is there in California. So what they do? They cut a area, separate it, and the other side also they put fire. So fire cuts fire. That way fire is appeased. Because here, when there is fire, less oxygen, so that fire also subsides. So to remove vritti, we need another vritti. So ignorance is a kind of vritti. Ignorance and vritti, because of ignorance vritti comes. So to remove that we need a vritti that is vritti vyapya. But phala vyapya means the awareness that interpretation is yours. Book does not reveal that I am the book. This is the idea. So this is completely, knowledge way of understanding. But we have wonderful help from Sri Ramakrishna. He said that time even mind does not, that mind is not this mind. The pure mind is pure self. So that is in addition. But if we go strictly by scripture, then they say, oh, for seeing, when you are seeing means here that I am Brahman. That's also a vritti. That also a part of mind. But that's not revealing power. It has no revealing power. Revealing power, say if you see sun, sun reveals. It's not that you reveal. The revealing power comes from the self. That is what. Another thing, this is to be realized. It cannot be interpreted. It cannot be explained. It cannot be conveyed. So this is to be meditated on. This is to be understood. This is to be understand. It is to be understood. And then contemplate how we understand. That's why very important. Even our day-to-day understanding also depends on this.
So Maharaj, the reason I understand that it's a book, because that knowledge is within me. So
that's knowledge means what? Your awareness, consciousness.
Awareness, consciousness is within me, so
That's
I
why
know
you
it's
interpret,
a book.
right? You
Yeah.
interpret. So that is not. Now think. Now higher stage. Higher stage. Yan manusana manute. It is not by the mind, because mind is also ignorance, part of ignorance, product of ignorance. It cannot reveal. That is what is being said. How can a book reveal yourself that I am book? It cannot. It is the awareness, your awareness, that you are interpreting. Say redness. If I say, okay, red color, what is that color? You will say red. I'll say no. Red is only reflected color. Red is only reflected. All other colors are absorbed. So reflected color means what? It's not its real color. Real color you cannot understand. Black body, we study black body. Black body means it absorbs all colors. That's why we see black. Right? So when I say red, say red rose, it is reflecting that, and I'm interpreting it as red. But we never know what color that rose contains. We are only interpreting. Okay?
Okay, Pranam Maharaj.
Yeah, that's it. Now this is to be, contemplated. It's not that. This is a very fine thing. Okay. আর কিছু বলবেন?
না বলছি যে awareness of Brahman is within us, but it's just
Correct.
that we cannot.
No, it is there. Who is
It is
speaking?
there, but
It's
it cannot
Brahman.
grasp. Yeah.
So it is Brahman who is speaking. Okay. Otherwise, your body cannot speak, your mind cannot speak, your intellect cannot speak. You are utilizing your body, mind, intellect to speak this. That's why it is now mingled. What we have to do, we have to separate. Who is this talking? Like that Ramana Maharshi. So he would teach like this. Find out who you are. Find out who you are. So Sri Ramakrishna also said, somebody came and said, God has created this and he has put us in trouble. So Sri Ramakrishna asked, who are you? Find out who are you. So it is like an onion. You remove this and go on removing, then nothing will remain. Nothing will remain there. What he said, that whatever we think, that is not the reality. But behind that is that reality is there, existing. Okay. So let us say our prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ तत्सत्।